Just some notes on creating the circulatory. To begin with, the horizontal was created using an arc, and prior to using the arc, basically a control line was inserted, and once the control line was inserted, the arc was placed by center, extending it, snapping it to the end part of the control line, and then extending it in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction back to the beginning and making it snap. Now when we manipulate the circulatory, we won't use the outer ring to change the radius of the circle or the diameter of the circle, but rather we'll use the control line. By adjusting the control line, say to 75 feet in this case, we'll see the entire rotary changes. Also note that we can change the beginning and ending position. Before we manipulate that, let's look at the profile and how we set the profile. The profile was set by establishing a baseline, the straight line in the profile view. And the way we did that was we picked the primary through road of the roundabout, and we set the entire alignment to the same elevation, which is okay. We don't really care how this profile moves up or down, but what instead we're concerned with is the design profile of the rotary. And the way we did this was we set profile line between points at a given angle using Civil AccuDraw. So in this case we used a 3% incline at locking it at station 0, and again locking it back at the end at station 0. We come back and actually we need to make sure we have the 3% value keyed in, so we have a nice incline. So we have a 3% value here, and in fact the 3% here. Now in theory this value should be the one that we want to update and can have in place whatever we want. So we can see how, if we are to manipulate our rotary and change the diameter to extend it, in this case to 80 feet. Let's see if our 3% held, and it actually did. So the 3% continues to hold, 3% and 3%. So basically my 3% is holding. Now let's see what happens when we move the starting position of the rotary, which we would want to do when we profile. So let's just move this, add a point up, and what we should see is very little or no change at all in our profile, and that's because our profile is always snapping and starting at 0. So if we want to change the low spots and so forth, we can always do that the way it's set now, about the midpoint of our incline, and then of course this can be updated at will once the rotary is placed. But again, the key is the new profile is complex together. The circle is controlled by a control line, and this controls both the diameter and also the starting of that circle.